And welcome to Nerdier Than. I'm John.
And I'm Turner.
And we are all about talking about that shit you're not willing to talk about.
Yeah, because you're too damn cool to talk about this stuff outside in the sun.
Because your reputation might be at line.
Well, I mean, granted, we're not exactly out in the sun right now either.
Well, that's very true.
So
we're in a darkened room.
Yeah, I would never talk about this shit out in real life.
But we're still not afraid to put it in public ears.
Yeah, in public ears, but I mean, it's like... Hey, you guys nerds? No, you're a nerd.
Cover up my Star Wars shirt, my jacket. Don't look at me.
Don't look away. See some kids, they playing D&D, kick them.
Yeah, seriously, I don't play D&D.
Yeah, you know, you gotta be...
Except for my level 10 barbarian.
Yeah. Level 7 clerics, all day long.
But I think what everyone is truly interested in is what's been on the news lately. And what's been on the news lately, Turner?
Benghazi. Oh, you meant like other things.
Like, I don't know, Star Wars Episode 7.
What's that? Oh, right. I guess that's the thing now. Yeah, I guess Star Wars 7's cast has been put up for everybody to see, and I don't know. What's everybody thinking on this thing right now? Everybody is like, ooh, that's such a good pick, and some people are like, ooh, I'm nervous.
Well, I mean, other than all the originals and Andy Serkis, I don't know who any of these people are.
Well, you know who what's his name? Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
Max von Sydow. He was the bad guy in Minority Report.
Yeah, and I mean, he did a really good job, and I definitely think in the Star Wars universe he can actually do some good.
Well, Star Wars isn't new to having old men in its life.
This is very true.
Fucking Tarkin and Christopher Lee.
And I mean, we also have all of the originals.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, it's good that they're bringing them back. At least they're doing something. Well, I guess the prequels couldn't do that. You can't have older Luke Skywalker in a prequel
before Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, before Luke. So I guess that would be...
And I mean, it's not like... I mean, look at Mark Hamill nowadays. I mean, it's not like he's really done anything too substantial these days except for, like, the Joker.
Yeah, he just basically segued a whole career into doing nothing but just sitting there and, you know, just trying to do, voice acting, you know.
And sitting on the royalties to Star Wars 4, 5, and 6.
Sitting on his ass and eating a bucket of chicken.
Same thing with Carrie Fisher, though.
Oh, my God.
She looks the worst. I'm sorry. I mean, Mark Hamill, like, you look at him and he goes, oh, you know, it's Luke Skywalker. He's just older. But Carrie Fisher, dude, that was Princess Leia, man. Could you imagine her in the Jabba slave outfit now? That would be horrible.
I can imagine her playing Jabba now.
Could you imagine, like, the 70s, every 70s kid's wet dream was her. And now... Please take that off.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, Mark Hamill isn't exactly the prize-winning pig either. Well, I mean, he is a prize-winning pig in his own right, just because he's fucking fat at this point.
But I mean, realistically, though, like, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure any girls that were into Star Wars when it was coming out, they weren't looking at Mark Hamill, they weren't looking at Luke Skywalker, they were looking at Harrison Ford.
Yeah, but Harrison Ford's like grandpa, like, he's like Father Time at this point.
I know he is, but I mean, did you see that Jimmy Kimmel interview?
Yeah, but that was like 5 years ago.
That was
a while ago. The last thing that you can like relate to is like he was in Indiana Jones 4. He was in which we shouldn't speak of.
No, we really shouldn't. Can we just edit that out?
Cut that out. 42 and Ender's Game, and he's playing the same thing. I mean, he's gonna be there, and it's like, Chewie, get the ship started. I'm trying to smuggle these goods. I don't want to be a hero. Look at my earring. It's not on the gay ear, so you know I'm cool. I mean, Harrison Ford...
Han Solo doesn't need that. He's already cool, man. You know?
He was... I mean, I'm not saying that he won't be cool again, but I mean, Han Solo's looking pretty bad in his own way. He's looking like he's been hitting the death sticks. He's looking a little Keith Richards-y.
All right, here's an interesting question for you, though, Turner. Do you think they're going to kill anybody off?
Hell yeah.
Who do you think they'll kill off?
Dude, Mark Hamill's biting it.
You think so?
Are you kidding me? Dude, he doesn't have a heart attack.
Like America's original sci-fi hero, dead.
Yeah, if he doesn't have a heart attack on his way up the steps just to get in the fucking studio, you know, he's gonna, he's gonna bite it in this film. I mean, because they will have to kill somebody off. Like, that's maybe not in this one, but the next one. And you can't kill Harrison Ford, because people will be very, very angry. Yeah. You know, you're going to hear a lot of that. Look at what you did, JJ. You just made a new prequel trilogy. You're as bad as Lucas the Hutt. You know?
Jar Jar Abrams.
Yeah, Jar Jar Abrams forever. You know, and Carrie Fisher, she's the girl. You can't kill off Carrie Fisher because it's then the ratio's off. The plot demands that we get a new Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that's true. But, where J.J. Abrams is concerned, I kind of feel like we're in safe hands here. Because, I mean, everybody's really worried. Any diehard Star Wars fan, that is kind of going, what
the fuck is Gollum doing in this movie? I mean, this is kind of a weird moment. Because this isn't... Normally, it's like, you're either a sci-fi or a fantasy. And Andy Serkis is here.
You're kind of putting in the best of both worlds.
I mean... He's not going to be a real person. He's not. There's not a chance in shit you're going to see Andy Serkis's real face.
But with J.J. Abrams, I feel like we could be really surprised here. I mean, I feel safe with him. I was not a fan of Star Trek. I really wasn't. To be honest, I felt it was really boring and dull.
Well, that's because we weren't raised in the 60s when there was nothing better.
That's very true.
You were either watching Star Trek or you went to, Vietnam. And it was like...
But then
I can understand why they'd call them bitches.
Until J.J. Abrams put out Star Trek, and it was like, holy shit, this is great!
Yeah, no, well, I mean, the first one I wasn't the biggest fan of, but then the second one I was like, oh!
Seriously, dude, Khan? Fuck. But we digress. Yeah. Andy Serkis, though, you definitely know his ass is going to be in a green screen suit.
He's going to be sitting there. You're not even going to know he was in the movie. Most people are going to be like, who the fuck is Andy Serkis?
Did you see that guy running in all fours, the alien?
He's basically, I think that he's the newest generation of Peter Mayhew. Freaking Chewbacca, It's like Chewbacca was the guy in the suit at the time, and it's like, you don't...
Yeah, how was the new generation of Chewbacca with the prequels?
Newsflash, I'm pretty sure Chewbacca was in it.
Yeah, at the end.
It wasn't even a good cameo.
Because they had to put him in because Jar Jar was fucking it all up.
They just, shoehorned him in there, and it's like, all right, later, nameless Wookiee. Later, Chewbacca, wink at the audience.
Yes.
As
Yoda flies off.
Yeah, in that weird Easter egg spaceship thing that she doesn't have on Dagobah.
Yeah, I think he does.
I don't think so. I don't. No, he didn't. He did unless he built his house out. No, he built it out of a tree. What the? I don't care. Where the hell did Yoda get all that shit that was in his house?
He's a Jedi.
He didn't. When he made plates and forks and spoons,
he might have brought it from Coruscant.
He went to the fucking Dagobah swap meet and deal with all the freaking serpents.
He thought ahead. Yeah. He thought ahead. He was, I'm about to exile myself. I need forks and plates.
I'll bet he was 5 seconds away from robbing Luke when he crashed. You came into the wrong neighborhood. You did.
Fucked you are.
Empty those pockets, you will. Comes back, ships on blocks. What the fuck happened?
Dagobah, ghetto of the universe.
That place fucking is, man. That thing is, it's like down home South Louisiana. Yoda is like the equivalent of these really racist people that you'll see sitting in a swamp. Hang on, fried ribs and chicken, yes, that's Yoda. But you've got, I don't know who the hell Oscar Isaac is. I know people are excited for him, and
you got Domhnall Gleeson?
Domhnall? Who the fuck cast somebody named Domhnall?
I don't even know, but I know we also have the potential for an antagonist is Adam Driver, and
ugly.
Looking at him, that looks like an antagonist.
Yeah, because he's not pretty.
Yeah, and he's got the dark hair and those ears. He's gonna fly away.
He's like, I don't need the Force. I can still hear you from galaxies away.
He's got extra sensitive Force hearing.
And we have, I don't know, like that. Isn't that guy like Max von Sydow? He's like German or something, right? Isn't he, or something? Like he's gonna.
What gave you that idea, Von?
Fuck you, man. I'm just saying. He's like I don't know. He's gonna be a bad guy for sure.
I would think so. He's got that air about him in any of the movies he's ever been.
Mark Hamill's gonna be the Obi-Wan, and then there's gonna be this. He's gonna be like a Tarkin or some new.
Who do you see being the young Jedi? The young Jedi that's coming up under him. I'm gonna go with Domhnall Gleeson. He's got a pretty boy look about him. He looks like a good guy.
The black guy.
John Boyega.
John Boyega. I want him to be the star.
Well, I mean, at least Star Wars going racial now.
Yeah, you know.
You're finally adding a black guy to the mix. Which is good. I mean, everybody was thinking George Lucas.
What are you
was
talking
some
about,
kind
dude?
of
There was a very prominent black guy in the
once. First... Yeah, Mace Windu came in.
No, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my god!
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. He's played by Ahmad Best.
Well, I mean,
what, you didn't like him?
No, I didn't. Everybody.
That's because you're a racist, unaccepting of new things.
Yeah, well, maybe they should have done him better. But I mean, honestly, all in all, I feel like this is gonna have a very big air of nostalgia with all the originals, and I mean, yeah, Mark Hamill's probably gonna die, and who cares really? It's Mark Hamill, as long as we still get Harrison Ford.
I don't want like a complete echo of like before, where it's like, oh, the old Jedi Master dies in this one. I want I hope that maybe if he bites it, he's gonna die in like the second one or something, like sacrificing himself. It'll be like some big tragedy moment. I mean, that won't be for another 4 years from now, but I mean, it'll...
But you know what? You bring up an interesting point, though, where the new ones are concerned. They were talking about putting out a new one for every year after 2015. When
they were talking about like how you would have... Well, it's because Disney likes to milk that cow.
And... Star Wars is a huge cow.
Yeah, it's basically like, oh man, are we running out of a little bit of steam on the superhero movies? I mean, they're not. People don't realize it, but they are. I mean, I mean, they're kind of like pushing the limit as far as they can go, like with the superhero thing. So it's time to get like a new thing in there now that they bought Star Wars, which was basically theirs anyway.
Seriously.
They're kind of like, yeah, let's get a new Star Wars movie out, and it's. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't want them to run it into the ground,
Which they will.
Yes and no. I mean, because it's like, yeah, I want more Star Wars that isn't shitty, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want too much of it. It's like, now that we can eat, I don't want to get fat.
Yeah, because I mean, as much as like it's like, oh sweet, we're gonna have a new Star Wars movie every year. It's like, what if I'm gonna overdose on Star Wars? Well, they need to keep switching it up, and they need to have a plot that is going to keep us interested.
Well, I mean, that's what I would wonder about this new one. It's like, what's going to be the plot? I mean, they say it's going to be something completely different, which means whoever the hell is that poor son of a bitch that wrote a book in the 90s, he's getting the shaft here. He's going to get really screwed.
I mean, I think we heard before, Disney put together a team of like going through every one of the books to decide which was on canon and which was off canon.
And the only ones I remember was there was the zombie stormtroopers. They're gone. They don't exist.
Why?
I don't know.
How awesome would it be, Luke Skywalker versus zombie stormtroopers?
I would walk out of that theater if it was like Star Wars World War Z.
I would just be dog shit.
Where you just see like stormtrooper zombies running around on a Star Destroyer. I mean, I guess that would make sense. A Star Destroyer comes over and it drops off zombies. I guess that does kind of destroy your planet.
Pretty much.
But I don't...
It's like, we've had the Death Star destroyed twice. What can we use against the rebels?
Hey,
zombies!
Maybe we shouldn't have built a second Death Star. Maybe we should have thought of something else instead of building two.
But we had the shield generator.
Oh, okay. You also had 1 billion ships that you didn't use in the same fight.
No shit. Yeah, that's very true. And where are we going to put the shield generator reactor at? On a planet filled with teddy bears.
Stupid Care Bears, man. Like that's how you know the difference between our generation and like the old generation. Where it's just like, some people like accept Ewoks. I do not accept Ewoks. That is just stupid.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I found them to be of some comedic value, but all in all, how are you going to stick a gang of teddy bears against these highly trained Imperial soldiers?
He literally says, a legion of my best troops awaits them. Well, that 3-foot-tall teddy bears with sticks and stones beating their ass.
With makeshift bows and arrows.
How the fuck did we take over the galaxy? How did that happen? Like, were people just not paying attention?
Well, have you not paid attention? How many times has a stormtrooper actually hit its target?
First scene of the movie. The first movie. They're just like, go, 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 go.
And then what, every other battalion just sucked?
Well, there was a theory that maybe the stormtroopers are just so loyal that, like, they were told not to shoot Luke and them so that they could find the rebel base. Like, that's a theory. Because one of them's pretty far away and gets a shot right into Leia's arm in return. Like, he's just like, bop, gets her. And
oh no, her arm. Shoot her in the face.
Whoops.
Don't pussyfoot around. Shoot her in the face.
That would have been a really good end of the series. Oh shit, Leia just took a shot to the face. I guess it's over.
Yeah. But, I mean, honestly, there's so many theories for these new movies, and I really feel like we don't know what to expect except for theory.
Well, there was like a lot of talk that they were going to bring in the Thrawn trilogy, and there's only one person you could have brought in for Thrawn. Benedict Cumberbatch. I mean, I'm not even a Cumberbatch. I haven't watched anything he did. I heard his voice in The Hobbit 2, and I watched him be fucking badass in Star Trek 2. So, I mean, he would have been great for it, but
his voice in The Hobbit, Smaug.
I am fire.
Okay, dope. Dude, Smaug was dope.
I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just like, that was really cool.
Yeah, and yeah. I seriously think that he could have been a really cool incorporation into the Star Wars universe, but, you know... We'll never know. Maybe in the future.
I think he's too famous. I think that the reason they didn't choose him is because he's a little too famous. That they want to try to keep it to relative unknowns, like they did before. They said that they were going to do that because Hugo Weaving, Gary Oldman, Benedict Cumberbatch were all holding hands, saying we're all trying out, and it was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about Agent Smith and Elrond being in Star Wars.
No shit. Yeah. No, there is that. I mean. It's also that tie-in of the fantasy and the sci-fi.
Well, you know that Gary Oldman was supposed to be in Episode 3, right?
No.
He was supposed to be the voice of Grievous, but because it's non-union work, he had a major conflict with SAG, and so they didn't let him do it. So basically, he would have just been the voice of Grievous and be like, "You foolish Jedi! I have been trained in your Jedi."
Yeah, and I'm gonna rip out your heart and shoot it with a blaster.
Wait, it was all a green screen. It's not like you actually would have been there. I mean, those movies were basically cartoons. I mean, I think that the Clone Wars series had more acting in it than the 2 and 3 did.
No shit. I mean, seriously, bless George Lucas's heart, but the man does not know how to build a set to save his life.
He did,
but he got a little too technologically excited.
He got too involved with it. He forgot the point of having a set and hey, here's where it is, and not just saying, okay, so the bad guy's roughly standing right here, so look menacing at him. And it's like
look a little nervous.
Obi-Wan standing there smiling as Grievous busts out 4 lightsabers and has buzzsaw hands.
Yeah, and he's just like no big. Fuck it. Let's go.
I got this. You know what Grievous should have done? Held down his lightsaber and then stabbed him in the sides.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like Grievous is feeling any pain.
Yeah.
Oh no, you chopped off one of my arms. I'm going to use my other 3 lightsabers to stick you.
With all the medical technology going on in Star Wars, I'm surprised they didn't invent Mucinex.
Yeah.
He was the whole freaking movie, man.
You don't have anything to fix congestion?
Yeah. Well, I guess they didn't because Vader had asthma for 30 years. They couldn't fix that.
So, I mean, years of speaking into a mask, I'm sure, causes a little bit of problem.
You'd think that Anakin would have noticed that something's wrong with the Sith thing, where it's like, okay, he promises that he's going to save my wife, but in order to do that, instead of just saving her, I have to kill children, betray the religion I've been doing, and, I had all my arms and legs cut off, and I've been burnt, and I now have the voice of a cool black guy. And he also didn't save my wife. Maybe something's wrong.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I think there's something up with this Sith thing. So I feel a little extra powerful.
Yeah, I feel kind of more powerful, but I also feel like crying all
Everything
the time.
I loved and had is now dead and
gone. Yeah.
Except for my children, who they won't let me see.
No, they're dead. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's
right. He thinks they're dead. But I guess I have to go and follow this guy who looks like a melted candle for always and forever. Who also treats me like shit.
All the time.
You have forgotten your place, Lord Vader. I guess that was in a game, but
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, but I think the plot for this, because they said it's going to be 30 years down the road.
Well, everybody looks like it's been 30 years now.
It has been 30 years. Yeah. It has been 30 years.
So they had kind of no choice there.
Yeah. It's like it's going to be 30 years down the road. No shit. It's not going to be like a couple days.
Start up right where we left off. We're just leaving the Ewok strongholds.
And I'll bet it's going to be some kind of like Han Solo's kid or some new
Oh,
hero.
absolutely.
And there's going to be like some brand new threat of some new Sith Lord, and Mark Hamill's going to be like the leader of the new Jedi Temple, and he's not going to be around to help them, but he's going to like give them Jedi to help them, and it's he's just going to be taking a really hands-off thing. Han's going to be some kind of general admiral. Leia's going to be like Queen of the Republic or something.
Well, supposedly she went Jedi, if you remember in the lore.
Yeah, but remember that they're ignoring it.
That's true, but I mean, she has Force capabilities, and they kind of touched on that.
A little
very,
bit.
Very briefly.
Yeah, she also touched on Luke's lips a little bit, but they kind of really blew past that. Yeah, it's like, whoa, man, hide that boner, Luke.
That's your sister, man.
I wonder how much shit Han gave him for that.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah,
Harrison Ford definitely has that sense of humor, and later on down the road, he was just like, dude, you kissed your sister.
Well, I don't know if he would do that because that's his wife now. Because I don't know if he wants to think about that. That my brother-in-law made out with my wife. That's a little awkward.
In their defense, they had no idea.
Also, well, I don't know if they're doing this because I know that like between the original, it's like Jedis were just kind of like normal people. They could still kind of feel emotions, whatever. But in the prequels, it's like there is no emotion.
That's true. Yeah.
And I mean, the Jedi thousands of years ago weren't like that. They could kind of do whatever they wanted to a certain extent. They could get married, they could be rich, and then they found out that being rich and getting married and having your wife die kind of makes people become Sith.
No shit.
And so they cut that out. But I don't know if Mark Hamill's going to be that, because he was getting pissed at Vader. He was like, "Gah!" and swinging at him, and I don't know if he's going to have purged emotion. Or if,
but to be honest, I don't know how he would learn that. Because, to be honest,
Yoda's dead.
Yeah, Yoda's dead. You got the ghost of freaking Obi-Wan. I mean, yeah, Obi-Wan's helpful once in a while, but he's not popping up all the time.
And I don't think in those 3 years that Yoda was basically like, okay, we're going to go back to the old ways that absolutely didn't work and everybody's dead.
No, it was kind of like, you are our only hope. Yeah. We need to get shit done.
He basically tried that shit, didn't work. You know how you're going to be a Jedi? Kill that guy.
Pretty much.
That's Sith shit right there. And Obi-Wan's probably like, well, maybe we should. No, you're a ghost. Fuck you. I'm fixing. I'm setting stuff right. I told you not to train him. Okay, I told you that in the first movie. You didn't listen. Yeah. Okay, now we're doing shit Yoda's way.
And I mean, Yoda is a man who gets shit done.
Yoda's like the only Jedi that isn't killed by a Sith. Think about it.
Pretty much, yeah.
He dies of old age, and it's like, well, maybe Yoda had something here, Maybe we should listen to Yoda a little bit.
What, more. Like all of us should exile ourselves to Dagobah?
Hey, Obi-Wan did it to Tatooine, and look how that worked out.
That's true.
Yeah, he exiled himself, and then he still got killed.
And then fucking Princess Leia had to call upon him, and Obi-Wan and his old Jedi, I must help ways.
He was probably having like Jedi flashbacks of like the old days. I'm gonna go and relive my youth. Out of the house for 6 days, dies.
Barely in 3 minutes into the fight, gets cut.
This is a lesson to retirees. Stay retired. But does that say something for Han Solo and Mark Hamill?
That's a very, very interesting point.
It's like, I mean, I can just hear it coming out of freaking Han Solo. The Empire's dead. They're not coming back. And oh god, they're coming back. I gotta do something about it. Get in my old ass ship and fight them off.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, hey, don't talk shit on the Millennium Falcon.
I'm worried about tie-ins a little bit.
Yeah, there's going to be tie-ins. There will be, because they have to. Because, I mean, just because they're not doing things by the books that were created doesn't mean they're not going to incorporate a small amount of the prequels.
Well, I mean, like, technology-wise, I'm a little concerned. Just because if you watch the prequels, tell me that any of those ships isn't going to waste an X-Wing or a TIE fighter. Like, they're really just tearing ass and they're just ripping shit up, you know? And so when you get to, and you rewatch the originals, because of their technological limitation, they can't show off what all these things can do.
That's true. And I mean, even back in that time, you know, George Lucas had to get creative with the things he was making. So, I mean, you got the Empire, who's big and bad, and you got the Rebellion, who's just kind of, they got this small little faction. And I mean, they got a group of really talented freaking
fish. It's a trap!
Yeah. Yeah, you got Admiral Akbar sitting in his fishy ways.
Where the fuck did he learn how to be an admiral? Like, he was raised in a fish tank.
I'm willing to honestly believe that, you know, the rebellion was just kind of like, well, shit, we need an admiral. Hey, that fish man looks like he can do it.
Yeah, this guy's got it. I would have laughed my ass off if right after it was over, it was like the rebels fighting for freedom, and then it turns out they're like way more totalitarian. All right, kill all the aliens. Akbar's like, wait, but wait, what do you mean? What kind of aliens? And it's like, this guy, I think fish is on the menu tonight. Yeah. And it's like, what? I didn't.
Shut up. Sounds of lightsaber.
You know, that's what I would be like might have happened. Because, you know, a lot of the expanded universe stuff is kind of dumb.
Yeah. You know, I read a couple of the books, and some of them were kind of cool.
Some of them are great. Thrawn stuff's really cool. Yuzon Vong?
Yeah.
That's just dumb.
Yeah.
They literally said the Empire built this giant thing, this huge navy, so that they could fight something that may one day come. And then they come in and they annihilate half the galaxy. It's just dumb.
So, yeah, it's like somebody was trying too hard. But, you know, an interesting thing is what may lie ahead for future Star Wars films.
Battle droids.
Just all battle droids.
I just want battle droids.
But, you know, honestly...
I was 7 years old when I saw battle droids, and they were the shit.
Yes, stupid, but the shit.
Hey, no, they weren't stupid until the third one, okay? They had sense of humor before. You know, they were like, those two looked at each other when they saw the giant monster. It was like, uh-oh, Roger, Roger, and they booked it the other way.
Yep.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
Then in the third one, it's like, you know, they're all weird.
But, you know, honestly, where the future films, I mean, I'm not holding my breath. I want the Fett movie.
Which Fett?
I kind of want Boba, and I wouldn't mind going back to Jango. I mean, Jango had a badass story.
Well, there is...
For anybody who read the books, if you haven't read the books on Jango or done any research on Jango, you really should, because he has an amazing, intense story.
He's not like super overdone. He's not like a superhero. He's just like a guy that was dealt a bad hand, and he just made the best of it.
Pretty much, and it was good.
And he just became this kick-ass bounty hunter. I don't know why the fuck he hired a shitty bounty hunter to try to kill a very high-value target in the second movie. But, you know, you live and you learn.
Well, it's because he wasn't ready to show himself yet.
He didn't have to show himself. He could have just shot her. You know, it's just like, you know how you handle this problem? Oh, she's landing on the landing pad. Poof!
You know how they could have won easily?
Oswald
instead of injecting those slugs, just toss in a thermal detonator.
Why don't you just have the robot have a detonator on it? Have it break through the window and just suicide on its ass, you know?
Yeah, but honestly, like Boba Fett...
It's a widely rumored movie.
I know, and like I said, I'm not holding my breath for it, but, you know, where they had kind of the origins, the X-Men origins, if they had like a Star Wars origins with Boba Fett, but did it good?
Well, Fett would be their new Iron Man.
Which I think could be really cool.
I don't think it wouldn't be. I think it would be fine, but I mean, part of the problem is that people accept expanded Fett lore, which they will ignore.
Yeah.
They will toss it out. And the Fett that you know, in the movies, he's a clone. And then he's basically the faceless cowboy man. You know, he's like he's supposed to be like this mercenary guy. That he was like a throwback to old westerns. So you don't know anything about him. And honestly, Fett's really cool, but aside from expanded universe stuff, did he do anything that was really that badass?
No, not really.
He just looks really badass. So, I mean, they're going to be making a lot of assumptions here that I don't know. I'm skeptical on it.
Do you think they'll stick with the story of him climbing out of the Sarlacc pit?
Oh, fuck yeah. Are you kidding me? Boba Fett didn't die because he fell in some giant space vagina.
No, you can't. You can't. Yeah, I thought he went out, like, before any of that, the fan base stuff of him climbing out came out. You know, I was like, wow, like, he was so badass, and he just went out like a bitch.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He basically, it's like, holy shit, there's the first Jedi that's been there in a long time. Jetpacks over to him to fight him. He takes his rifle's cut in half. His next thing, he's tied up Luke. He's all like, "What you gonna do now, bitch?" Then I mean, yeah, he gets hit in like the back, and it activates his jetpack, and he falls into that giant
space vagina.
Teeth, giant teeth.
And but then he climbs out, and I mean, according to like the lore, after the lore, he becomes the next Mandalore, and
well, yeah, he's I don't have as much. I think the Mandalorians are badass, but they're basically the losers of Star Wars. It's basically like...
Yeah, once they're on their own, it's like, dude, you're fucking cool. Yeah, but like the second all the Mandalorians get together to fight a war, lost. Yeah,
it's like, hey, let's take on the Republic. Lose. Let's do it again. Lose. Hey, hey, we're going to train an army of clones. Lose. It's like...
Seriously, like they have nothing.
Yeah, they just get their asses kicked, but, you catch them by themselves. They kick a lot of ass. What I'm thinking is I want to see like the new Jedi. I want to see a lot of Jedi. I want to see remember when the SUTOR trailer came out? That first one.
Oh my god.
And it was just like, our time has come. And that just, all those Sith busting out.
And every Star Wars fan had a throbbing erection.
Like, oh my god.
Dude, I was stoked. Dude, the first trailer, all of the trailers for that shit was dope.
The third one I wasn't as big of a fan of.
With the smuggler?
Yeah, they had like droidicas busting out machine gun fire, and he does like a weird flip around, and he was just like this obvious like, hey, I'm gonna be this Gary Sue cool guy, everybody should want to be me. And what happened? The smuggler was the least played class.
Yeah, seriously. But I mean, I think they were they definitely wanted to go for the whole Old West gunslinger act, kind of like
I don't mind that, but
I don't either. But but if you were actual players of SUTOR, the smugglers were badass. They actually were. Like, they were actually very in multiplayer PvP fighting.
You don't even talk, man. You're like a Sith player, like everyone else.
Bounty hunter fucker.
Yeah, well, it's still, you're on the Sith side. It's all that's semantics, really? You want to argue that right now with me? Shit. I mean, I was sitting out there on my ass playing like one of the few Republic troopers that's out there that's like, okay, we're getting into a match. Oh, the Republic's losing? Big surprise.
Yeah, no, because the Empire is more powerful, and we all know it.
It's a bad guy thing. People, when you're playing these games, they always want the bad guys to win. Like, when the first bad guy game for Star Wars was TIE Fighter, sold way more than X-Wing. People wanted to be the bad guys. So actually, when it comes to this, I don't know who the bad guy is going to be in the new Star Wars movie, but I'm thinking it's going to be some young, cool guy.
Well, all we have rumored is Adam Driver.
You know what I would love? You know how there's that chick, I don't remember her name, but the one that's like, everybody's like, who is she? She has no credits. She was in nothing. She's basically like in an episode of this or that. People are like, oh, she's going to be like one of the Skywalker kids. I want Sith girl. I think that the Sith have been kind of a men's club for a little too long. Yeah. They're like either ugly dudes or like super evil. I think it's time for like hey, chicks can be badass too.
Hey, they had the one in Clone Wars.
Oh, Asajj Ventress?
Yeah, and she was badass.
Yeah, she was. I mean, it depended on the episode. I'm one of like 7 adults that actually watched that show.
Well, dude, Clone Wars was actually very adult.
Yeah, no, it was. It was really dark.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of... I mean, there are parts of it that are just dumb. Hey, it's an episode with Padme and Anakin. Well, you should just skip this.
Yeah, no shit.
But, like, then there are other ones where it's just... Yeah, it's like, oh, here, these guys just walked in here and just killed this Jedi. Like, it was nothing. He was trying to defend some little kids. Well, he's dead. And guess what? Those little kids are very much implied as being dead, too.
Yeah. So, and they have that new cartoon coming out.
Rebels.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Well, Rebels... It's kind of like a toss-in from everything that people have always wanted to see. Like, they have their main character is this old Jedi who's voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. for some
fail.
Yeah, why? Who's like, he was a Padawan when Order 66 happened, and he survived, and now he's a smuggler, and he uses a blaster and a lightsaber, which everybody's like, oh man, that's so cool. But I feel like it's a lot of handout kind of stuff.
And you think it's going to be a little more childish?
I actually do. I actually think it'll be a lot more childish, because in like the Clone Wars, they dealt with like a clone who was defective, which is basically a hearkening to like mental issues.
Yeah.
And they talked down to a little bit, and someone really liked him, and all he wanted to do was help. And in the episode he's in, he dies. Like, he dies in that episode fighting in his first battle, and he loves that he fought with his brothers, and it's like, oh my god, this is the most tragic, sad thing ever.
Yeah, seriously.
But in this thing, I don't think it's going to be as dark. I really don't think that they're going to do that.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think it's kind of it's a move. It's a financial move. What they're honestly,
with Disney, is there anything that's for like, oh, we're going to do this because for the art? No, they're doing it because it's like.
Well, I mean, look at it this way.
How many zeros can be on the check?
They can get the kids excited. You know, they're watching this new show, and it's probably going to relate more to them. They're going to get more excited about it, and then they're putting out Star Wars Episode 7. So now they're like, we've been watching this show. This is going to be amazing.
Well, now that they're doing the cartoon, I'm wondering if they're going to revive the plan for the Star Wars live action. I don't know if you heard a lot about that, but there was planned. Lucas had planned on, instead of doing like extra movies, there was going to be a live action Star Wars TV show. And it was going to take place between 3 and 4. Boba Fett was going to be a character.
Ooh.
They were going to it was going to basically just be like people dealing with the Empire. But then it became too expensive, and they couldn't figure out how to work it out. And Lucas drags his feet on everything because he doesn't know how to do something without spending $50 billion on it. You know, and
it's like, dude, what did you do for 4, 5, and 6?
Well, now that Disney has it, I mean, I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I heard it was okay at first, and now people are losing interest. But they have ABC. You know, they could totally, just put it out.
And I mean, I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, yeah. I heard pretty much the same thing you did, but at the end of the day, I had no interest in watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
because I want the superheroes.
Well, yeah, it's like, basically, hey, you're going to do a movie that's about Marvel and everybody in it that isn't a superhero. Pretty much. I've heard that they have, like, little side heroes. I don't want a side hero.
No, I want the heroes.
And
worst Thor. Worst Captain America.
Worst case scenario, in that show, I want these guys to be going down and taking out, like, mutants or something. But they can't do that because they don't own the mutants. The
X-Men.
Fox owns. They own the X-Men. They own all the mutants and stuff. So you can't really do that.
It'd be cool if they could one day do some form of a merger, but Lord knows that Disney's going to ask for.
Well, they kind
of Fox will ask for a lot of fucking.
I mean,
money.
I don't want to give like a spoiler. I haven't seen the end of. I didn't see Captain America 2, but I heard that they reference Magneto's children.
No kidding.
In it. Like, they do straight up, like, 2 people that have the exact powers of Magneto's kids. So, Fox and Disney must have done some kind of deal. But Disney, at the end of the day, it's all about, well, the audience might like this, and how can we get a big-ass check?
Pretty much. Once they got their hands on Marvel, it was just like, new superhero movie every year.
Yeah, it's like, just flip that shit out.
And to be honest with you, like, I liked Iron Man. I liked the Iron Man.
I liked the first one. I hated the second one. I loved the third one.
I felt that Thor was extremely disappointing.
I liked Thor. I thought Thor was okay.
I didn't mind the first Captain America.
I hated it. That shit was stupid.
Well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
No, we're not going to agree to disagree. You're just wrong. Okay, you think that the stormtroopers are bad? Nazis and Americans run at each other with, like, laser weapons and bullets. You don't watch any of them die. I'm into running at each other. It's like I'm watching the last fight in Dark Knight Returns.
That's true.
You know, oh god, all these people are shooting at each other with machine guns and tanks and nobody dies? How is this a good idea?
No, that is true. I mean, but where Disney's concerned, you know, they got their hands on Star Wars and, like, they've already started trying to make big moves. They already got the movie coming out. They already have the promise for a new Star Wars movie.
They had a lot of potential of screwing that up because everybody was worried about who was going to take it over. Remember when J.J. Abrams was announced as the guy that was directing it? He's literally the space pope now. He has Star Wars and Star Trek. People were like, oh, is it going to be Joss Whedon? And I thank God it wasn't.
Yeah, me too.
Because Whedon, he starts great, but he doesn't put in the work. He'll, like, start, like, making all these weird plots and shit, and it's just kind of like, thank God he doesn't have it. J.J. Abrams, it's safe.
Yeah, that's what makes me feel comfortable about this.
And he's young.
Yeah, and he I think he'll be able to, identify with us as old school Star Wars fans.
Yeah, he's got it down. He knows like
I think he'll be able to bring in a good mix of old school and new school, but keep it comfortable.
I hope that they use Bad Robot for the effects. I hope that they don't use like Disney's Bad Robot's the people that J.J. Abrams owns. They did Cloverfield. They did the new Star Trek movies. They're the people that make those CGI effects where it's like you're thinking, damn, that looks really good.
I think they would. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Well, I mean, Disney gets weird about shit. I mean, look at John Carter. Look at. I mean, they.
I don't want to look at John Carter.
Well, you and the rest of the world didn't want to look at John Carter, and it didn't make any money. Now Jerry Bruckheimer's fired. Yeah, you know. Well, I guess he was fired after Lone Ranger, but and that's what bothers me when it comes to Disney. It's all about the money. So while I love the fact that there's more Star Wars. Well, I guess it doesn't quite fit in the same thing as Marvel. Because Marvel, superheroes do get boring. After a while, you can only... they're gods. You're watching gods do god stuff. And they're limited to Earth. Star Wars, you have the galaxy. I don't know if you noticed, but Phantom Menace takes place on one fucking planet. Out in the middle of nowhere that doesn't matter to anybody. But it's the most important thing right now.
Yep.
As much as shitty as Phantom Menace was, that's what it is about. And you can do that with Star Wars. You can show me something I've never seen before. You can get dark. You can get light. You can have comedy. You can have Sith, Mandalorians. You can have some random craziest terrorist that just wants to bring the Empire back.
I mean, honestly, as much as SWTOR got disappointing to a lot of people, I have to say it was cool to be able to play that kind of a game and be able to go planet to planet to planet to space station.
SWTOR was disappointing because of its mechanics, and it was just kind of...
And it had no end game.
It was story-wise, it was great.
Dude, every story was good.
They were really cool. Their trailers were awesome. Everything about it. And it brought you this part of the galaxy that you've never been to before.
Yes.
Where it's like huge amounts of Sith, huge amounts of Jedi. And it's just going on. Like, this is what's happening. But right now, we're going to be at a point where the galaxy is rebuilding to that point. Yes. Where it's no longer one-sided. You're going to have bad people, you're going to have good people, and it's going to be cut right down the middle.
No matter what, people don't agree.
Yeah, and they're not going to agree on how this is going to go.
It's true.
They're especially not going to agree if somebody dies. If they kill somebody, everybody's mad.
They're going to have to do it right. They're going to have to be able to justify it. It's going to have to make a big impact on the rest of the plot.
Well, people are happy and upset about the Star Wars cast. People are like, oh, I don't trust these new people. And other people are like, oh, that guy from Girls is in it. Yay. And it's like, Girls sucks. All right? Girls sucks. Yeah. It's a shitty show.
No, I totally agree. And then, like we said earlier, they incorporate Andy Serkis. Like, okay, we know he's going to be an alien. We're incorporating the fantasy meets sci-fi. There is that. I mean, that's cool. You got two of the biggest freaking money-making movies, like, kind of collaborating on a very brief thing. But all in all, I mean, Star Wars, I feel like I'm in safe hands with J.J. Abrams, and I feel like it could be really good. I got a lot of hope for it.
What if it sucks?
Then I'm gonna be really bummed.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Like, I'm gonna kill myself.
Would you?
No.
Oh. What if I gave you $1?
No. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that it's going to be solid. And I mean, if it's not, it's not. There, we run that risk. And if J.J. Abrams fucks it up, he's going to be forever known as Jar Jar Abrams.
Yeah, I don't think that he'll do that. I mean, Star Trek does have one glaring flaw. I mean, people may say that they love the fact that Leonard Nimoy is there. When you think on the plot of these movies, they literally had Leonard Nimoy there to get on the phone with him and say, hey, is Khan a bad guy or a good guy, and should we fight him? Khan is a bad guy. Let's fight him.
Yeah,
that is literally what happens. So, I mean, that's a little dumb.
It's nostalgia. It's more for those old school Trekkies who are just like, oh my god, it's the real Spock. Like, get over yourself.
Yeah, but with this, they're not going to do this alternate universe thing, fingers crossed. But, I mean, I don't want them to just throw away the prequels. I wouldn't mind having, like, a really cool Gungan. If you had, like, some random Gungan who's, like, got 2 blasters, like, smoking a 2-box cig, and is like, so let's go fuck a shit up. And he's like, you know, something like that, something from the prequels where you can like, so I can remember, like not like a pod race on some like TV screen somewhere, something so I know that you're not just saying
forgetting about the roots.
Like let's just not acknowledge that ever happened.
I mean, for as much as people were really disappointed with the prequels 1, 2, and 3, you know, you can't. Regardless, it is now the roots of the Star Wars world, and people have to kind of come. Yeah,
you have to accept that. You have to accept the fact that is there. As stupid as it is, you just kind of gotta acknowledge that it's there. You don't have to think on it too much. Just, you know, Anakin did kill all those kids. Anakin cut off Mace Windu's hand. I remember when what's his name, Sammy J was saying that. Oh, I want to be in a new Star Wars movie. Well, I don't know why you will be. Like, it's kind of a heartbreaking thing to say that you are a really great actor that your talent was wasted on Mace Windu.
I mean, honestly, I thought he had some cool parts, but all in all, I do agree with you.
He was cool from the last second of the second movie on. He sat in a chair the whole first movie.
But think about it, you know, but once the second one came to mid to a close, and the third, that's when shit started hitting the fan more. So, I mean, yeah, you know, he had to kind of stand up and be like, all right, let's go fuck some shit up.
Yeah, but I mean, still...
You know, walking up to freaking stormtroopers or Clone Warriors, sorry, and be well, say what again, motherfucker? You know?
He's that Jedi that just doesn't take shit from anybody.
Nope.
It's like, what are you doing? I'm drinking, bitch. Well, I guess that was Will Smith in Hancock, but... I haven't watched as much Sammy J as I probably should have because, you know, he was big in the 90s and I was, you know, 7.
That's true. That is very true. But, I mean, you know, we got this new cast and, you know, everybody's kind of excited right now. And it's all going to be when we start getting some ideas for what's actually coming out. What we're
once that first trailer comes out, I'm going to watch the shit out of it.
Oh, I'm going to analyze it and go over it.
Yeah, second by second.
Yeah, we'll have a whole nother 45-minute Nerdier Than Thou about that trailer.
Because, you know, superheroes, they're going to be over. Now that Disney has its eyes set on, there's going to be new Indiana Jones. Because Lucas, when they acquired that, they also acquired Indiana Jones. So they're gonna have that. Superheroes basically are about to run their course, just like Pirates did.
Yeah.
Pirates, you haven't heard anybody say anything about the new Pirates movie. It's been like 5 years, and you haven't heard a damn thing.
Nope.
Because they're just like, oh, they might get around to it. So, you know, the superhero thing, did you realize that you're seeing 4 superhero movies a year?
I didn't.
Yeah, in this last year, you saw Iron Man 3, Thor 2, and X-Men, I feel like, something like that. Or at least this year, you're going to see...
You have Captain America.
Captain America, you've got... X-Men, Days of Future Past, you have Spider-Man. Granted, they're not all owned by the same people, but
they're all superhero.
It's all superhero all the time, and I heard that Amazing Spider-Man sucked. I didn't hear
Really?
It. That's what people are telling me. I heard a few people say that they really liked it, but I heard a lot of people, they're just saying, damn, look how shitty this was. But I mean, I hear the plot is exactly the same as Batman Returns, which is a big surprise since the guy that wrote Amazing Spider-Man 2 wrote fucking Batman Returns.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
well, you know, I kind of have to agree with you in the sense that, yeah, superheroes are running their course. That people are kind of starting to get hungry for more. And, you know, now that Disney got its eyes set on Star Wars and starting to pump out that franchise, you know, everybody's going to get excited. Everybody already is excited.
Well, it's front page news every day. Like, I read the news, and it's on news sites on the front page every day. And it's nothing. It's like Mark Hamill says that he's excited about the new movie. Front page.
Pretty much, because it's Star Wars. Star Wars is huge.
Because J.J. Abrams promises I don't have to work out that much.
Pretty much.
Because I don't have to give up McDonald's.
Yeah, so Mark Hamill's stoked.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably just stoked to be in a movie where he gets to be in the movie and not like a voice in it. But if you listen to Mark Hamill, you hear the Joker.
Oh, absolutely.
It's weird. Like, every time I see him, I hear the Joker now. I hope that they address that a little bit. Like, I want them to fix it. Just...
You need to be a little more less maniacal.
Yeah, can you not do that? Please?
Everybody's in the read-throughs right now, like, with him, and like they're just like, dude, stop.
But we have every reason to be worried. I mean, Lucas isn't as heavily involved. He's still, like... Basically, the problem with Lucas was, like, he has really great ideas. But he also has a lot of shitty ideas. And you need people to, like, pick and choose the good ones. So Crystal Skull, happened, and it was kind of like, okay... And there was a lot about that where it was like, what the fuck did I just see?
Yeah, no, very, very true. Very true.
So is this shit going to do that? I mean, I don't know.
We can only sit and hope it doesn't.
Maybe I should submit them my tabletop plans.
Yeah.
See, I wrote this fan fiction out, and I really think that you guys should read
As they get escorted by security off the premises.
I once thought of what would you do if, like, you wrote something and you put it online and then that's used as the plot of the movie? You can't do anything. There's nothing you can do. These fanfic kids, there's going to be some kid out there that wrote a fanfic that's pretty close to this new movie, and he's just fucked. He's not going to be like, I wrote this, look, I did this, and they're going to laugh at him and say, security, Yeah,
unless he has some form of copyright infringement, but yeah, no, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I don't really know what to think. I mean, we're gonna see what happens here, but
and I definitely feel that this isn't gonna be the only Star Wars talk we have.
Probably not, but I mean, this ain't gonna be the first talk we have in general. But I'm excited. I'm excited and horrified. So,
And I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the time we have for today. What do you think?
Yeah, Pry, I gotta take a piss.
Remember, I'm John.
I'm Turner, and we are talking about all that shit that you are just too much of a pussy to talk about in your real life.
Because we are nerdier than thou.